And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me, I have a newcomer and a returning good brother to the temple. They are the multi-headed monster behind the Blunderbuss RPG, which we will be getting into today. On one hand, we have the return of Archmage Arispen. I actually said it right this time. And in the blue corner, making his debut here in the monastery, Maciej. I probably mispronounced that, and I do apologize.
Maciej.
I did say before we went live that I was going to screw up pronunciation, so truth in advertising.
Don't worry, everyone does that, so...
And
not a problem.
For those watching this on YouTube, I will have the link for their particular project on the description, and I'll be doing the same on Twitch and pinning that. So, I've already done the origin story thing with Arispen. So with Maciej, I'd like to get, and we kind of touched on this before we went live. I'd like to get your origin story when it comes to role-playing games. How did you first get into it, and what made it stick?
I fell in love in role-playing games right from the start, so it didn't even need to stick. It never, nothing really special happened to make this hobby stick. When I first read about it, I already knew that something is amazing, and I will love that hobby. And I started by reading about them in a gazette about computer games, and from that it was like 93 or 94, so a few years back. I started buying a Polish gazette regarding role-playing games, and trying this Polish role-playing game called Crystals of Time, which is famous from being difficult and really hard to play, and then playing Warhammer First Edition, and then the floodgates were opened, and I never went back, just fell head over heels into this hobby with full love for the role-playing games.
Mm-hmm. I will let you in on a little bit of trivia regarding Warhammer First Edition, since I've spoken with Graham Davis in the past. Originally, they were going to have it use the same die system that the wargame used, but they wrote themselves into a corner with that setup, so they blew it up.
Yeah, that's really interesting, but yeah, it seems about right. If you have a war game that is around for a few years, you would try to. The first step would be to try to use it, try to mimic that in a role-playing game.
Which is, it's an admirable attempt, but some war games can be built for that kind of thing because you're not dealing with as many units. I think that's the reason BattleTech is able to get away with that, because one of the main playstyles with BattleTech is squad combat, essentially, as opposed to whole armies. But Warhammer didn't really have that. There's been skirmish variants, but they're not the same exact rule set. Like it's like the difference between Necromunda, or actually Mordheim would be a better example, and Warhammer Fantasy proper. Like same universe, but it's not the same exact rule set.
But there are similarities. Okay, but,
But
that's an interesting factoid about Warhammer First Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, in the first edition they even put conversion rules, so you can use your characters from the role-playing game into the battle game. You can transfer them and use them in battle with the rules from the Warhammer Fantasy battle.
Which
I thought it was the other way around, that you had some, I don't know, favorite unit from the war game, and you want to play as those in the role-playing game. Does it make sense or not?
But with that in mind, would it be fair of me to say that a lot of those experiences with say Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, whether it be first, second, third, or fourth edition, laid the foundation for what would become Blunderbuss?
Completely fair, because for Blunderbuss it is like a love letter from me to the first and second edition of Warhammer. The newer editions didn't fully fit. I didn't really like them. So I wanted to recreate the feeling and magic and the nostalgia of the first and the second edition of Warhammer, and really wanted to do something that scratches that particular itch. So that was the first idea for Blunderbuss, to just create a rule set that could recreate the feeling of old Warhammer, but being very simplified and modern, and not that difficult as some other iterations of this type of games like Savai Hunter. And it was so much fun for me and my fellow players that I created a whole world around it, so it could be played not only as a rules substitute for Warhammers, but also as a standalone game with its own world. And then the fun with the world, creating of a new world and using our world as a basis for it, just began and created a really fun, weird world set in a Polish city. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of, that's the other thing I wanted to get into, the fact that Blunderbuss is set to be based on and I'm going to apologize for my pronunciation gaffes. The city of Danzig, which is meant to be this take on a 16th century place of this, I believe, of the same name, or of a similar name.
Gdańsk. The Polish name is Gdańsk.
All right.
But it has some complicated history as well, and it's historically, it being a Polish or not Polish city is a heated debate. There were some very strange periods in history where it was considered a quote-unquote free city, which actually was a German city, or Nazi German even city. And actually, but it was always a multicultural city. I think I would say that. But go on, Maciej.
So,
And with Danzig, I thought about it because, as you know, Warhammer is set in the empire that is based in Germany, and all the names are in German, and they have this strong German feeling. And I wanted to have something similar, but not the same. So I didn't want, because Gdańsk was there were a period of time where Gdańsk was not Polish; it was German, like Arispen said just now, called Danzig. There was even a heavy metal band called Danzig. And so I went a little bit different route and used the Dutch name for Gdańsk and the Dutch language, the Dutch names as the basis of the free city of Danzig. So it is like a hats off for our Dutch brethren and their names, their Hanses, and their take on Gdańsk culture. Yeah.
And I think what's interesting on that is, yes, the Empire of Man in Warhammer Fantasy is very much German adjacent, but more specifically, Holy Roman Empire, Germany. I believe that was stated multiple times in the past. And the Holy Roman Empire, if one were to look at a map of the different nations that made that place up, they'd see that it was a mess of dozens and dozens of nations and microstates. So that kind of chaos with just one city makes a fair bit of sense.
Yeah, and I wanted this city to be this cultural hub, this mix of very different cultures, races, and people from all around the globe, like this big port seaside cities were in that time. So yeah, that's why Gdańsk, and that's why Danzig. That's how Danzig was born.
Mm-hmm. Which certainly makes sense. And just to refresh my memory, I ended up grabbing a map of what the Holy Roman Empire looked like circa 1273, and even at that point, it was a mess, and it would only get worse. And with that in mind, I know that I've stumbled a bit when it comes to pronunciation, but are you planning to put in some sort of pronunciation guide? Because obviously not everybody who's going to be grabbing this speaks Polish or Dutch as their native language.
I didn't intend to, because first of all, deep in my heart, I don't really care. Because I know how difficult Polish names are to pronunciate, and I don't care how somebody pronunciate them, because I know it's a difficult language, so I'm used to that. That's the first thing, and the second thing for me is that in this day and year there are far better tools on the internet, like even the Google Translate, where you can just write the name and click a button and it will read it for you. So for me, it was easier to learn the pronunciation by ear than by reading, and I never even thought about doing a pronunciation guide, because if I have some problems with pronunciating, I use online tools for that.
Yeah, this is fantasy, and we don't want to make life of the GMs or players even harder by trying them to twist their tongues. Let them just say whatever they want.
That is
Yeah, exactly.
That is fair.
Yeah, It's far too difficult to try to pronunciate my first and last name for anybody to give them even a fantasy problem with pronunciation. No.
I already botched it. I already botched it, and going through names is my job. But when it comes to the core mechanics of things, obviously you have it that only players are rolling. So given that, do you have kind of a spread of difficulty adjustments, since you're dealing with a roll under D100? I'm guessing it's that whole plus 10 or minus 10 setup that you would see in like Warhammer Fantasy.
Something like that, but actually it's plus minus 20. not a big difference, but one of the main issues I had with the first and second edition of Warhammer was skewed probability chances. The beginning characters were really bad at stuff. Especially in second edition of Warhammer, where it was normal that you had like 30% of success in doing something, and most of the time you didn't do stuff that you were trained in. So like the probability is a little bit centered about 50-50 for the beginning characters. They're more closer to the 50%, and the difficulty modifiers are rarer than in Warhammer. And because they are not as often, they are bigger. So if you have a difficulty modifier, it is a 20% modifier either in plus or minus the base attribute.
Oh yeah. So now the other thing that I find interesting that you ended up doing, because I think the only other major game I can think of lately that's tapped into this is Eclipse Phase, is the doubles rule. You know, you roll doubles and you succeed, it's a dramatic or a critical success, and it's a dramatic or critical failure if you roll doubles and you miss. What prompted leaning into that approach?
Actually, it was like a nod for me for the first edition, optional rule for the first edition of Warhammer. There was this optional rule that you had this critical fumble and critical success in combat for doubles, and I wanted to recreate that. I also wanted for the success or failure to be like two-sided. You have not only just mere success, also great success, and I wanted for it to be scaled, the chance for a great success to be scaled by the skill of the adventurer. So if you are more skilled in something, there is a bigger chance for a great success for you. So I wanted it to be scaling with the experience of the adventurer, so the doubles were like a natural thing for me in that situation, because the more skill you have, the more percentage chance you have, the more doubles are under your skill level, attribute level, so there is a bigger chance for a great success for you. So yeah, that was this main things for me for using the doubles as an additional tool in the rules. But also there is this stuff that I wanted to make these mechanics as easy as they can be, while still recreating the feel of the first and the second edition of Warhammer. And without the doubles, it was just a little bit flat. It didn't have the depth I wanted it to have.
Yeah, I can certainly get that. And with the whole thing of skill versus luck that you have laid out, when I looked at the one-page version, which just has skill and luck as just two separate attributes, but the character sheet proper has just skills and has luck as its own thing. Given the checkboxes that you have there, is this a case where you're developing skills by using them?
No, you develop skills by changing careers. So, if a career has an available advancement for you in that skill, you can buy that advancement, and these check marks on the character sheet are each one advancement. So if you buy one advancement in a one skill, it will fill one of these check marks that correlates to a 5% raise in that skill or that attribute, if you advance skill or attributes.
Yeah, because I only saw a list of skills when I looked at that sheet. I didn't see anything like attributes. Now, obviously,
If I can interject a little bit, there are two attributes, like in the one-page version. There is skill versus luck, and there are skills under the attribute skill. So if you are trained in something, if you have that skill bot, you test the skill attribute, and if not, you test the luck.
Yeah.
So there is so the one-page version is very similar, because it is meant to showcase the full Blunderbuss game, only extremely simplified. So yeah, didn't change it. The basis is the same.
now
We will show it better with the upcoming Quick Start adventure and rules that we will be releasing during the ongoing crowdfunding. So like in a week, in 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. Now, another thing that I did see on that sheet that I did want to touch on is faith. Is that analogous to, say, fortune, or is it a different thing altogether?
It's analogous to fate points or fortune points. I don't remember the correct name in English for Warhammer, because I had the Polish version. And those are those points that make you survive things that would normally kill you. So yeah, you have these fate points, but the huge difference between other games like 500 or even newer Warhammers is that these fate points, or the maximum amount of fate points that you have, are influenced by your luck attribute. So if you are not lucky, you cannot have as many fate points as characters that are more lucky than you. So because of that, it is another balancing attribute for the race, like elves, which are extremely skilled and very powerful, but they will never have as much fate as a human or a halfling, and they cannot have that in the mechanics of the game.
Alright, I can certainly get that. Also, somebody's tapping on their desk. But now, when it comes to careers, it's looking like you're doing that's a similar kind of branching tree with careers. Although one could argue it's a tumbleweed, where you have certain careers that are an entry point for other careers and are exit points for other careers further. Is that how careers are going to be working?
A little bit, but not exactly, because I always hated, and with real hatred, the mechanics in Warhammers that had these exit careers, that you have to be one career to be another one, to change the career to something. and there were always these difficult game masters that even if the events of the adventure would show you that you need to change this career to that one, you cannot do that because you don't have it as an exit career. So I omitted that completely. To change a career, you just need to have the thumbs up from your game master. It just needs to make sense in the adventure, you know. But there is one little barrier in that. The careers in Blunderbuss are separated into 3 groups. There are basic careers, advanced, and master careers. And the only rule that limits the changing of the careers is that you cannot go to a master career from a basic career. You need to go from basic to advanced and then to master, and it needs to make sense in the adventure, and you have to have this thumbs ups from your game master.
Yep. And I can see that since you have a natural bit of progression that is not falling into what I like to call the false choice problem, which you could say the whole entry and exit career is an example of that. There's plenty of others where it's almost like you have to pre-plan what you're spending your advancements on well in advance, in order to get what you actually want. Or in some
There
cases,
was this problem with Warhammer that some of the players I played with, they thought of a career they want to be and created a character that was best suited for that career in the future. And I don't like this type of play because it's too narrow. It's too I don't know, like tying the character and its destiny and the things, the adventures that he will survive for that road that the player planned for it. It's almost like going on the next level and the next level and the next level with no ability to change that path. And I always thought that the career path, the main strength of this type of advancement system, is that you can branch it, you can change it, you can go into really different directions. So I didn't want to hinder the players to make that changes more difficult for them. I wanted it to be as easy as possible.
And I know that there's nothing wrong with games that have a more linear advancement, but I think the expression that comes to mind is, "Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining." If something is meant to be a bit more freeform, then it should be able to be that.
Yes, exactly. Because it's more of a free-for game when you can start as a beggar without a penny to his back, and your adventures as a grandmaster of a holy order, and it is just that type of a game.
Yeah.
Or you can start as a wizard's apprentice and forget about wizardry altogether and become this great fighter known all around the world. You don't have to be that one thing. But this is this type of a game, and for this type of a game, I want to have the mechanics to support it.
Yeah. So when it comes to the career system, you did mention that your choice of career would determine what you can put advancements in. Is it a case where each career has a certain cap on how many advancements can be put in like skill or luck or getting talents, or is it a case of a short list that you pick from?
It's a list that you pick from. Each career gives you a very closed set of advancements that you can take from this career. it is quite short, so you won't be staying on one career for a really, really long time. It is rather designed to jump from one career to the other and change your professions rather quickly. And but each profession gives you a small and a very set, written in stone, like set of skills that you can choose from, that you must buy to change to finish this career. But in order to make it more to make each career more unique and designed by the player, there are ways to modify these advancement options by the choices you make as a group.
And speaking of that, it's mentioned on the crowdfund page that that the way you have reputation set up can also affect character progression. How does that work out?
Instead of a alignment system and other mechanics that give you information who you are as a person for that character, there is this alignment, not alignment, but reputation chart that gives you how the world perceives your hero, either as a person that is a really lawful or a lawless individual that does not do things by the book. And that progression can limit some careers that you may or may not take. So if you are a really lawful person, you wouldn't be able to take up like a master career of a prince of thieves, because other thieves would never accept you. You have a reputation of a really lawful guy that do things by the book and works with the law enforcement. So why would they tolerate you as a prince of thieves? And vice versa with lawless and like a guard captain or something like that. And there are some other mechanics that use this reputation system. So, for example, the more lawless you are, the better bandit you can be with better and stronger attacks from the ambush, because that is the bandit's main career talent.
All right, I can certainly get that. Now, with that in mind, I did want to cover a bit on magic. Obviously, in something like Warhammer Fantasy, magic is tied to chaos, and that runs the risk of using it can result in interesting things happening to a mage. So, how do you have it where magic is still present, but also still highly dangerous?
Okay, so in the Blunderbuss world, in the world of Danzig, there is no chaos. Instead of that, there are 4 major sins that are actively trying to destroy people's souls and their lives, and there are these evil beings in this world. But magic doesn't come from the sins. Magic is just this primal, primordial, extremely dangerous force that flows through through humans, and some lucky few that are mages can use it. And because it is this primordial force and power, it is also dangerous. So in case of this great failure, so rolling a double in the magic test, because in Blunderbuss you test if you are able to cast a spell correctly, and if you fail critically, the magic just gets loose. You can't control it, and it may make some really weird stuff akin to the like this mutation and other stuff in Warhammer. There are these tables that can make this magic wreck your character or stuff around it.
Yeah. Do you have some sort of some sort of magic effect table, sort of like the whole magical mishap kind of thing?
Yes, there are actually two tables. One for critical successes, and for if you cast a spell with a critical success, it's called an over-effective spell, which can if you are really lucky, modify and plus your character for its whole life. So it can be quite rewarding of rolling this over-effective spell. And vice versa, you have magical blunders when you lose control of your magic, and you can lose control. There is this slight chance even of dying in that situation. So there are two tables that can of things that can happen when you cast spells. So you're never sure how it will go.
Mm-hmm. And is it a case where some spells, because they're more difficult to pull off, will inflict penalties on the magic skill check?
Exactly like that. So they, with that, they are the chance of the critical failure and critical success automatically gets bigger or lower, respectively. Yeah.
So, on the enemies and encounters part of the crowdfund, you talk about loot and alchemy integration, and I specifically want to cover alchemy for crafting potions or crafting magical items. Crafting systems are certainly nothing new, but they have had a unfortunate reputation due to a lot of them being very complex. And since you're trying to go for a simplified approach, how are you doing that with item creation so that it doesn't get too crunchy?
Okay, so I will start with something different and then go to the alchemy if you would allow it, because with Blunderbuss I've made this mechanics of this downtime, like what the characters are doing between the adventures. And most of the crafting takes place during that downtime. If you have a talent from a career that specializes in crafting, like being a craftsman or an alchemist in that situation, during that downtime you can automatically create something, an item or a potion or something like that, with a value dependent on your skill. So you don't roll anything, you just create it, you choose from a list, okay, that will be great, and I create it during that downtime. But with the alchemy, there is a little caveat in this, to create alchemical potions, this really strong alchemical potions, because you can always create the simple stuff. But to create these really strong alchemical potions, you need to have ingredients that are taken from the defeated monsters. So, for example, like you would hunt for giant bats in the forests near the Dansvik, because their eyes are made into a potion that can give you a better aim during ranged combat for a few minutes. So it would go for a lot of money with sharpshooters and people like that. So we can just have like adventures of going hunting for giant bats, for squids, for king pikes and other monsters like that. And if you gather those ingredients as an alchemist, you finish the adventure, and between the adventures you just create those alchemical potions because you are skilled in doing that.
Yeah, I can certainly get that. I've had a complicated relationship with item creation setups, because some of them require. It's always been a nitpick when item creation requires very, very specific items, and I end up calling back to how, yeah, there's some people who will make a particular dish just using the recipe, and then there are people who will freestyle it. And I've met plenty of chefs in my life who fall into the latter. where they'll make something close to the recipe, but then put their own spin on it. And I've always thought, why can't you do that with item creation? Like, why do we have to assume that everybody's potion is made the exact same way? When I think
you can but you can defend this that the potion is not only created by the alchemist, but by magical properties of this ingredient. So yeah, with potions I could defend it a little bit, but I understand you, and in 99% of the cases I'm completely on your side. That's why I wanted it to be simplified. And if you play like a craftsman that specializes in making black powder and gunpowder weapons, so you won't have to spend all your adventures seeking sulfur, seeking other ingredients that are needed to create black powder. You do that in your downtime off screen. You just do it because you are a craftsman. This character can do that. You are skilled in doing that. So why make it difficult? Why make it harder for the player to enjoy his character?
Oh yeah. Now, on the combat end of things, it does sound like because you're doing this one action per round. It sounds like you're going more for abstract kinds of combat, not necessarily going with a grid and going with a map unless somebody actually wants to. Is that correct?
Yes, the grid is completely optional. You can use it because I try to use meters for the distances, how much you move and other stuff like that. But the main style of play is in the theater of mind, abstract, and not really using this grid and tactical combat. One of the things why is that it's because those combats in Blunderbuss were so quick and brutal that getting them ready on the tactical board would take longer than the combat itself. So yeah, we just winged it and used the theater of mind, being abstract with it, because the combat was just a few minutes and it was done. Yep.
So is it like you either win or you quickly run, right?
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal and effective.
Yeah, and I think.
Sorry, Mildra, I wanted to say something because you said about this one action economy in Blunderbuss. It is one action economy for beginning adventurers. There are a lot of careers that give you talents that broke that economy. That give you very specific actions that can be used only by you during your round of combat. So yeah, it is one action at the start, but it can quickly be a very, very different type of combat.
So with that in mind, I wanted to touch on the part about narrative skill usage. It sounds like one of the goals you have is that, in theory, any skill with some rare exceptions could be used in combat in some form. There aren't skills that are expressly combat only and skills that are non-combat only.
Something like that, because there are two skills that are combat-only skills, close combat and ranged attack, that are used for the main action of attacking someone. Yeah. There are other skills that are purely defensive, so yeah, they can be used in combat, but you won't be the one to start using it, to initiate the use of that combat. Other skills, all of them can be used in combat, and there are examples and ideas of how to use each and every skill during combat as your action, so it can be fun and engaging, and it can give give you something to do if you don't want to just take a weapon and hit the enemy over the head with it.
Yeah, and at any time we can avoid just everybody doing basic attack, or I hit him with my sword is a win in my book. And that brings me to the whole cinematic traits thing. I'm guessing that this is a kind of weapon art approach that individual weapons have when it comes to using doubles.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Every weapon has one main skill. How much damage does it do? Because the system is really simplified. So yeah, only that one skill. And another trait that what will happen if you roll a double. Yeah. So basic weapons have this trait, special trait. If you have a weapon of a greater quality, it can have two traits. And yeah, what will happen in combat if you roll a double, like a critical hit? What will you do as a critical hit to an enemy?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So it sounds like effects like deadly or razor sharp or elegant are things that would trigger if you roll doubles on a hit.
Yes, they're exactly that. There are triggers on a double. There are ways to use them even if you not roll a double, but it is really difficult. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, you do talk about having a base building setup, which is something that I've seen some games do better than others, obviously, but. Is that something that's going to have its own sheet? Like the base acts as its own character in a sense?
Yes, a little bit, because I've made this blunderbuss with the focus for so many careers on these downtime activities. I wanted to for the characters to have this base, this home they can return to for the downtime activities. That's why base was created, and the base is it can be modified by the characters by pouring their hard-earned cash into it and building base upgrades that can modify not only the base per se, but it can modify whole your career or career of your fellow adventurers. Like I said before, I told about these ways to modify the careers to better suit you, and the base is the way to do that, because when you buy an upgrade for a base like a like a gymnasium, yeah, it means if you have a fully functional gymnasium in your base, all of your careers that you take may have an additional advantage in either acrobatics or athletics skill. So if you want to buy those skills, if you want to specialize in that, you can do that even better than your careers would allow to, because your base allows to do that. There are also upgrades that can, when you craft items, you craft items of twice the value or twice as many items. That if you have this critical upgrades that for weapons that can. These abilities, traits that work on critical, that it will work automatically on the first hit that you make with this weapon, because it is really sharp like a razor, and other stuff. So there are a lot of upgrades that I hope that can make your base a really fun place to be.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that the base can be like a cart or an inn, or I'd imagine at higher tiers something like a castle or a manor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the idea because, having a house is always fun. Having a place to go to is fun for the players, and having a house to be attacked by the enemies is fun for the game master. So, yeah, a house is always fun. And if it's like an additional character, that all of the characters together work to make it better and more fun, and maybe draw something and make a plan or make a map or something like that. I really like it. I think it's really cool, and I like this plays that use this type of basis mechanics and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, with that in mind, I know you mentioned that a quick start is on the horizon. When will that be dropping? Do you have a ballpark for that?
For the quick start, as I said, during the crowdfunding campaign, which lasts till quite the end of the month, because I made a mistake, and instead of making the crowdfunding for 30 days, I made it for 4 weeks, and this is ending in October 28th. And I think we'll drop, as you said, the quick start at least a week before the end. So I think we want to do that not later than 21st October, and it's going. I've seen already. I even shared on our Discord the first character sheet, pre-made one from Maciej, and I absolutely love it. The characters are great. The let's say the rules are quite extensive. Actually, when I counted that, because Quick Start is actually right now at the moment going. As for the editing process, and our editor said that to get a quote from the editor, I counted the words, and actually the quick start is a length of 1/8 of the rule book, so it's quite long. I asked Maciej, and he said that, in order for you to play the game, you actually need most of the rules. So there's not it's rules light game, so we put most of the rules in the quick start. But obviously the rule book is much more stuff, much more content, and much everything. But and I also add that the quick start adventure is very very interesting. It's quite short, but you can continue that in the introductory adventure that will be included in the rulebook. And I would say the adventure is short, but very very interesting, and hopefully fun for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will add also that I wanted to make this quick start as a tutorial to learn the basic rules. So you have most of the rules in the quick start. There are some rules omitted, and like Maciek said, in the book, in the main. In the main book for the Blunderbuss, there are more stuff, more things, but all the basic rules and how they work and what actions you can do and stuff like that are in the quick start, so you will be able to check it, see it, if you like it, how it plays, and play this quick tutorial adventure, the Wraith of Whisper Wood, and see how it goes with your playstyle with your players.
And I predict it's only a matter of time before somebody tries to use the system as a base to do a legally distinct version of the enemy within. Because it's going to happen at some point. I guarantee you that. If it isn't me, it's going to be somebody in the Discord. If it isn't somebody in the Discord, it's going to be somebody who it grabs the crowd fund. If it isn't somebody who does it after grabbing the crowd fund, it's going to be somebody who does it after the full release. But
But the Danzig world version or just the system? What do you mean?
Either it could be within it could be within that world, just some sort of extensive campaign on the scale of the enemy within, which is kind of has that reputation as the big campaign within early Warhammer Fantasy.
Is your question
And
about
that would be
our
lovely.
licensing or
No, I'm just making a joke.
yeah, okay, so yeah, but
Yeah.
to add that, I wanted to because I thought you were asking about if we what's the license, how do we see how do we want to approach if someone wants to publish a adventure for Blunderbuss. So in this case, I know that you didn't ask this question, but I will answer it anyway. So the thing is that we want to make pretty similar license that I think I invented for Miami 86, which is you can freely use the text in the book and the rules. I mean, hold the text except for using our art. Or Maciej's art, because the whole book is illustrated by Maciej. And you can publish anything you want, and also we created a badge, compatible with Blunderbuss role-play game, and then you can just put it on your stuff and sell it online, do whatever you like. But adding to that, we are because one of our backers, the earliest one, I think it was backer number 3, said that he hopes that we will not abandon the project after releasing the core rule book. I said not on my watch, and we already started talking with Maciej about what would be the first module for Blunderbuss. Would be a campaign, a setting, new let's say part of the world, or it would be a adventure within Danzig. So we will probably not decide it by ourselves. So we will probably most likely ask our backers what they need. I mean, what they prefer, and then try to plan on that.
And I will certainly be looking forward to seeing how that develops. But with that said, I do want to sincerely thank both of you for taking the time out of your schedule to come all the way to my monastery and enjoy the madness that happens here. And
thank you very much.
Thank you.
for
Also,
inviting us.
we're really glad to be here. Yeah.
and anytime you see fit to return, the door is always open. As I often say around here, drinking is not mandatory, but it is encouraged. And
It's a good plan for
Oh,
like Saturday
that's it.
evening. Yeah.
Exactly. That's also my plan.
And of course, a sincere thanks goes out to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there will be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Thank you.